Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Charlie with 4BZ Truth, and we're contemplating the cosmos again, 2 weeks in a row. Interesting how I don't know, things are kind of coming to life in me again. And I actually am kind of getting excited about a lot of different things. And um, so I just decided to start reaching out to a bunch of people. And I already have um, 4 people that I'm probably going to interview, at least 2 that are on the schedule already, but 2 that I'm trying to figure out the time that's going to work out. So, anyways, just thought I'd pop in here and kind of talk about. Oh my gosh, all my faves are here. So I don't know if William's here, but he popped in earlier in the chat, and then of course um, Bo True, good old Bo True. He and I go way back to the, I don't know, a year or 2 ago when he started watching my channel, I guess. And then of course we got Becky. What the heck? Oh my gosh, Jesse! Oh my gosh, all the peeps are here tonight. Wow. Okay. Well, actually, Jesse, by the way, I was listening to one of your guitar riffs that you're doing. It looked like you're jamming with somebody, and I decided that I wanted to actually show that on the show tonight, if that's okay with you. Assuming that anybody can actually hear it, because I don't know how to get the audio to work great when you're playing a YouTube video, or actually it would be a Facebook video. But anyways, so yeah, just a little backstory. This picture, or the painting in the background, is my dad's painting that he made. I don't know. He painted it back in I don't know, the 70s or 80s. And he used like spray paint and oil paint pencils. But I don't know. It was just an interesting. I just decided to use this painting as my kind of my analogy, or my metaphor, to kind of depict where I'm at right now in some ways. And if you look, you'll see the basically it's like traveling through space or some sort of realm into the light. And I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Something my dad um, C. Schwab. I like it. Yeah, Becky, I'm still waiting for you to send me your stuff, by the way, whatever you're working on. But I don't know. I've decided that I'm going to stay committed to getting on here more. And so 2 weeks in a row, here we are. And I've lined up some interviews. So I think that we got something going here. And hopefully, as time rolls on, people are going to start trickling in, and then you can kind of hear. Well, regardless of whether you trickle in or not, you're going to hear my rant and the crap that's been rolling through my brain. Like, yeah. Anyways, but how's everybody doing tonight? It's Sunday night over here in Idaho, and um, yeah. So the weather is not as hot as it was. Um, it's probably like upper 80s, lower 90s. It's been not too bad. But yeah, so I don't know, just kind of getting into it. Thanks, Becky. Yeah, my dad loved his paintings. He worked a lot on that kind of stuff. Um, and he's getting up in age, and honestly, that had a lot to do with why I'm like feeling uh, kind of, you know, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not saying he's nearing the end of his life. He's still like a spring chicken, but he's 72, and I just felt like he's getting up in age. So I don't know. So I don't know. The older people get, the more you start thinking, oh man, let's start paying attention. Really? I don't know what just happened, guys. I was touching my mouse, and all of a sudden my screen went blank. So if you can still hear me, let me know. Um, it could have been, or maybe I was still there. I'm not sure, but I just logged back into my thing, and here I am. So if you can hear me or not hear me, let me know. Dang live streams, and my internet signal is kind of up and down, so I don't know. Uh, Anybody that can't hear me right now, let me know. Or if you can, can hear you, good. Okay, so I'm gonna start by actually featuring the song by Guitar Death Battle. um, and glad it's not TED Talks. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of like a TED Talk. All right, so let me do a screen share here, and I'll do my, let's give this a try here. Don't make me do this. My computer decided to not allow me to share my screen here. Hold on a second. No. Bear with me a second. I'm trying to figure out why my computer decided to not share my screen here. I'll check this for a second. I don't know. I'm going to try to play this video, and you can tell me if you can hear it or not. It's not really it's just a jam session by Jesse. And here, let's give it a try. Let me know if you can hear this, guys. If you can't hear it, then I just don't know how to share this. Hi, Bob Brett. Let me know if you can't hear this, guys. Oh, okay. I had a feeling that maybe you'd say that. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I need to learn how to use StreamYard better because I'm a little out of practice. Hey, what's up, Chained Minds? You're going for it, but I don't know. All right. So what I could do is I'll share this with the group here. Let's see. Share. Share. Copy link. So if you guys want to hear Jesse's guitar, it's actually he's awesome. I kind of screwed up. I thought that you would be able to hear it, but apparently I wasn't able to play it for you. So, anyways, but yeah, go to this link if you can, just to hear Jesse's guitar. It's awesome. He does a great job. I've been following his stuff, and every time he posts something, I listen to it. So, but anyways, I'm just so grateful that I get to meet people on all over the place, and so yeah, so kind of just going back, I was thinking a lot about some of the stuff that I talked about last week with Chain Mind Asylum, and so and I went over and I kind of pulled up a conversation with Wayne Bush and Forever Conscious research channel, and I think he said his name. His name's Paul. I didn't know his name was Paul, but I just learned that. And I talked to him for like a couple hours on the phone. So it's like I can't even. He didn't even tell me his name, but there's been people on there saying his name. So, but anyways, I've been really trying to step back from my understanding of things, and use this image as kind of my. You can see how it goes up this path here, and my my thumbnail was a guy that was kind of walking the tightrope with his little balance pole, and it's kind of hard to it's like a balancing act. Ultimately, what I was trying to find this path, the true path, and we are. I don't know. My path has been kind of on hold a little bit because I started feeling kind of overwhelmed with a lot of things, and then I started realizing, I needed to keep this ball rolling, and you know, I lined up a few interviews now. I'm going to re-interview uh, this guy Brian that I interviewed a while back. This guy that had a near-death experience. For some weird reason, I'm not thinking of his last name. But here's kind of an image I wanted to show you guys. You see this? It's kind of like basically, it's it's an illusion, you might say, but it's not. It's just really your mind shifting back and forth, and you look at it, just stare at it. See if I can get it closer so you can see it. Stare at the image. Do you see a staircase, or do you see kind of something that's like stepping up? I don't know. Basically, the point of this is to kind of show that your brain kind of plays mind tricks on you, because you could see something whatever way you want to see it, but even when you try to focus on it, it's hard to really identify. Oh, hold on a second. it's hard to see the image. You can't flip your eyes back and forth. In other words, your brain basically just flips back and forth for you. I don't know if that makes any sense, but um, yeah. So um, let me just quickly say, Brian Hoyland. I'm sorry, Brian Hoyland is going to be. I'm not going to interview him next week, but I'm going to interview him at the end of the month, I think. I have a date set. In fact, let's see. It is Saturday. I'm sorry, Sunday, the 28th of August. So we're gonna have an interview then. Um, I've always been moved by near death experiences, not just for the story or the um, what you might say the learning experience from it, but the fact that people have actually transformed and come back and changed their direction in their life. But at the same time, it's like I don't really know if anything is authoritative in near death experiences because I hear different perspectives, and a lot of you guys know that I'm kind of like all over the map on this thing, and I try to. Yeah, so hold on, I got to reference what Bopperet's saying. So yeah, so that looks upside down, and it looks right side up at the same time to other people, just depending on how you look at it. And let me just flip back to it so people can see that. Um, so right now, as I'm looking at it, it looks like it's stepping up, like upside down, you might say. It's not a staircase that's right side up, it's upside down. But if you look at it long enough, you're actually going to see your brain shift to a staircase. And that's exactly what I did. Right now, as I speak, I am looking at a staircase now. I think it's interesting. Yeah, you can see it both ways. And that's kind of the mindset that I have with a lot of the philosophy of interpretation. I feel like your brain will interpret things the way that you want to see it, and but in this case, it's interesting because you can flip back and forth and not even be trying to flip back and forth. Um, and yeah. So, anyways, you've seen Brian Hoyland before. You've probably either seen him on Jeff Mara's podcast. You might have seen him on my podcast because I actually had him on a while back. In fact, he says I'm the first show that he was ever on, and now he's like all over the place. And he was just on Ions Radio, which is like pretty mainstream when it comes to near death experiences. So oh wait, are you saying that I've seen no Shane Mines? You don't do interviews, right? Yeah, so I'm going to interview Brian Hoyland because I want to In fact, we had some really deep conversations after I interviewed him, and we were going to talk about like the Freemasons and stuff like that, and we just never got around to it because he started feeling real sick with his he had a heart transplant and he just had some real difficulty adapting to a new heart, and his liver was starting to fail, and but he's really been bouncing back. He's been doing great. So yeah, I'm going to interview him again. Hi, brother. This is my brother, everybody, David. Yes, this is my brother's painting, but I have the image on my computer. So, anyways, but yeah, so I'm going to interview Brian Hoyland at the end of the month. I've been talking to Paul on the plane. I actually am going to talk to him a little about something a little different because with my mindset about the end times and things like that lately, I've been thinking about ways to survive and ways to adapt to the situation. And Paul actually introduced me to something that I thought was interesting, and I just wanted to hash it out on my channel. And we'll probably talk about that next week, next Sunday night. And then Joe Taylor was another one that I was talking to. I don't know if you know who Joe Taylor is, but he is kind of world renowned when it comes to researching and investigating like the creation account, like uh, the giants and things like that. He has a really famous picture that I want to show you guys. I wonder if I can pull it up here. Um, in fact, I'll show you real quick so you can see who I'm talking about. Joe Taylor. Whoops. Whoops, I spelled his name wrong. Taylor. Okay, so bear with me, guys. Hold on one second. Yeah, that's the picture right there. See if I can zoom in a little bit here. So I don't know if you ever seen this image of this guy. Sorry, I'm trying not to get a glare here. So this guy does a lot of research about the creation versus evolution discussion, and if you actually look at the picture, he's standing next to a human femur that is attached to a leg of a giant, basically. So that's about how big that giant would be if you were standing next to it. I think that's interesting. And I don't remember if it was him that found it or someone else, but the point is, he talks about some really interesting stuff. So I'm trying to work out a time to meet with him, and then who else? Oh, Jeranism. I was talking to him on Facebook, and he might come on it. I just need to hone in on a time with him. So anybody that knows who Jeranism is, yeah, Jaron Capanella or something like that. So I'll have him on eventually. I don't know. We'll just have to figure it out. But anyways, yeah. So I'm kind of getting a flame under my booty to freaking start doing interviews again. So that's kind of where I'm at. And yeah. So yeah, Jeff Mara, he had him on, Brian Hoyland, and Love Covered Life. He might have been on there, but I never knew that he was on there when he was, if he was. He was on Peggy something, NDE TV, and then what else? Yeah, Ions Radio, of course. Anyways, I'm gonna get off topic here. So the reason I decided to kind of do this cross in behind me is really just I'm kind of doing the walk of yes, everybody's here tonight. What's up, Ingsak? Um, no, David is my dad and my brother. So this is my brother um, that basically is housing my dad's painting. So yeah, that's my brother right there. So anyways, and no thanks to this guy, a lot of the conversations I've had with him has kind of screwed me up a little bit because when you start allowing yourself to think differently about things, you start feeling like this. I keep freaking doing this, but you don't know whether you're looking at a staircase or an upside down staircase. In other words, so I don't know. What do you guys see? I'm looking at an upside down staircase right now. So it just I've come to realize that there's a lot to this. Yeah, exactly. It does go both ways. So when you start looking at it long enough, you could see how someone could see it both ways. But that doesn't make, I mean, what way is right in that sense? No way is right necessarily. It's just how you perceive it. So I'm not saying that. So I talked about this last week. Perception is reality. And if you decide to look at something a certain way, ingsak, uh, just remember when you interpret data the way that you think is needed to be interpreted, then that will be your ultimate outcome. Now, I'm speaking for myself too, because who comes to the conclusion that this is the road that we travel down to get into heaven? Well, or who's to say that there is the light over there at the end of the tunnel? Or yeah, here, that little guy right there, he's going straight up the cross right there. This guy, anyways, or this guy. See, yeah, this guy. But so when you start opening your mind up to things that are, let's just say, for instance, I've been watching or listening to Mr. Ballin quite a bit, and anybody that hasn't heard Mr. Ballin, he's a YouTube channel that has basically like a lot of followers now, like I don't know, 4 million, 5 million subs. I forget exactly what it is now, but I started listening to him when he had like less than a million. But he's really just like exploded because all he ever does is tell stories about like, these horrifying situations where people die in horrible ways. And now one might say to me that it's not edifying to listen to somebody talk about people dying. But the weird thing about it is I'm looking at it through a lens of near death experiences because I kind of wonder like how our reality is kind of finite. And I always hear people that say that they had near death experiences. They say that they are moving to the next level. So I often wonder what's going on in these people's minds when they're dying. A lot of them that the stories that he tells are like, you know, somebody that got stuck in like a chimney or something and nobody found him. So they ended up just suffocating to death. Or somebody that got stuck in this little crevice somewhere where they couldn't get out, even though they weren't suffocating, they ended up starving to death or having, um, dehydrated or whatever. It's kind of a horrible situation, but at the same time, I'm thinking like I'm in some ways preparing my mind and heart for death, which is weird. And but as often as I've looked into near death experiences, I actually feel like not a lot of people think about it. Not a lot of people think of death unless they're trying to figure out what happens on the other side. So I just feel like there's something interesting about the concept of death, but I think it's really interesting to me to think about somebody that was in a pretty terrible situation where all they could think about was fear as they were dying. And I don't know, that sounds pretty demented, twisted, but at the same time, it's like, man. So yeah, Bob Barrett actually has heard of Mr. Ballin. Um, yeah, exactly. You see the little guy up on the top right here? That's what happens. Your brain falls out once you start thinking. Uh, yeah, NDEs are in the Bible. Yes, I agree. And I'm not preparing for death. I only shed my earth suit. Yeah. You know what? The only thing wrong with that statement is the globe right there. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around. Um, So yeah, I'm going to get back into talking to near-death experiencers again because I feel like there's just too much to consider, and I want to analyze their mind, and I want to analyze, you know, kind of the change that they went through. I want to analyze a lot of things, because I feel like um, there's just a lot to consider, and I'm not ready to dismiss, the concept of near-death experiences because there's just too many patterns, too many things to consider with the patterns. I mean, uh, going back to kind of to my foundation, you could say um, the symbiotic relationships. I think is what you say. Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying that right. Symbiotic, uh, symbiotic relationship. So it says symbiosis is another type of close and long-term biological interaction between two different biological organisms, but is mutualistic, commensalistic, or parasitic. The organisms each term is symbiont must be different species. Now, I've actually heard that's just the biology side of things, but there's something interesting about how we share the nature of just life in general between. I mean, even going down to like lightning striking soil and allowing soil to be charged with nitrogen. And nitrogen is one of those things that helps fertilize soil. And obviously, all this crap that we're hearing about, like, uh, you know, manure actually causing there to be too much nitrogen in the atmosphere. Well, it's because all the freaking cow poop that is just sitting there is supercharged with nitrogen. That's why soil mixed with cow manure is supercharged with nitrogen. So I just think it's interesting, uh, these relationships. So if anybody's questioning if there was a creation, I think that I have enough evidence to say that there is a creation. So if anybody in the chat has any questions about that, or why they have a reason to believe that there is no creation, or a lot of people would just, it goes back to that image of the stairs, or the upside down stairs. How do we interpret the evidence? Are we going to just look at this and say, there was a creator, or are we going to look at it like, oh, we are the creators? Our minds are our mind's eye, the eye of Horus, the or the eye of the pineal gland is what we use to create, and then you have the collective of consciousness. Everybody symbiotically contributes to the collective to create our reality. Which I talked to Brian Stavely about this in regards to this Mandela effect, which, who am I to say that that is impossible? I just don't know. You know, I could say that God uses us to create. Maybe that's it. Or because it says we're in the Bible. It says we're made in God's image, and but then we always hear all these things about unlocking our minds to allow ourselves to explore the fullest capacity of our abilities. And I think it's interesting if we're supposed to be these conduits, right? These electrical conduits that God manifests through, or the Holy Spirit. I actually feel like we are. Um, I think that we have to exercise that muscle, you might say, because uh, I've taken a break for a while, and now I'm starting to feel a little bit weak-minded. Like I don't really know. Not to say I was ever strong-minded. I just feel like my brain is not what it was, or maybe I'm just getting old. Who knows? So, holy crap! Hold on, I'm gonna read some of these things you guys are talking about here. Um, so my lens only sees my yard, no stress. I don't think a lot are in fear in one. See, and I'm not even worried about the fear of dying. I'm worried about the what goes through people's mind when they're faced with death. Um, whether that's fear or just like, oh, it's like an epiphany. Oh, looks like I'm dying now. I don't know why I keep getting booted from my stream, but here I am again. You guys still there? All right. Anyways, I was talking. It seems like when I'm touching my mouse, something funky happens to it and it kicks me out. So I'm just going to stop touching it. You'd have to talk to people who know or knew the former me. Seeing that, Bo, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like people that have near death experiences come back transformed. And I can't discount that. I can't discount it. Not on my own, but the Holy Spirit changed and continues to change me. Yeah, man. I can't argue against that. Um, let's see. What is parasocial? I don't know what that is. I've studied NDEs for many years. The NDEs are definitely real. It's just a question of who the beings on the other side are. Hey, I wouldn't mind talking to you about this on a deeper level if you ever want to come on. Because, I talked to Forever Conscious, and he, to me, he seems like he's stuck in a rut in some ways now. Even though he's smart and he's very analytical, and I appreciate his perspective, I just feel like it's hard to continue the dialogue at this point because I just feel like he and I are not looking at it through the same lens, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with me or him and analyzing the data from a different lens. Maybe there is something wrong with it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out because there's a lot of wild claims with the Bible talking about how we basically have to see through that lens in order to understand reality. Um, but anyways, I see the creator's hand everywhere. Yep, that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make. Is that there is so many things that speak creation or something intelligent behind it at the very least. Um, I don't think all shadow people are bad. See, that's another thing about Mr. Ballin. Uh, one of his, actually, his first story he ever told on his channel was his own story that he had, where he believes he saw like some sort of shadow person or ghost or whatever you want to call it, and it was abnormally tall, like it's very long legs, and it sounded really creepy and very paranormal, and this almost the same kind of person or the same kind of entity was seen at this cabin by the 17-year-old kid that was in the cabin by himself right after his dad died. And not to mention, right after uh, when Mr. Ballin was having that experience, that was after his friend's mom's or friend's dad died. Is ultimately the wife or the mom said that she believed it was the ghost of her husband, her late husband. Um, but Mr. Ballin didn't interpret it that way. He thought it was a ghost or some sort of shadow person or demon or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just all that stuff's interesting to me. So, um, let's see. Knowing Jesus doesn't change spirituality or its implications. Jesus made some wild claims, like I was saying. He said he does the will of the Father, and he was speaking, or he did what the Father told him to do. So if the Father is really someone might argue as being the universe or the, I mean, the Bible even says that Jesus created the earth and the heavens and the earth with a host of heaven. So that kind of leads me to think that we are creators through God, or God is through us, I should say. Semantics, exactly. Um, oh my gosh, yeah. Hopefully, we don't start like having like button heads here. But my great grandma called me after her death at 15. I told me to change. It was at night. Phone off the hook in the morning. All that globe uh, warming stuff is BS. In the 70s, it was cooling. 90s, 10 years to live, etc. Well, yeah. Come on, guys. It's okay to have thoughts about religion. I mean, what's wrong with that? We're just discussing. If you want to discuss in the chat, it's okay. Um, okay. Well, anyways, you guys are probably just discussing amongst yourself at this point, but um, be nice, Bo. All right. Well, anyways, I'm just gonna keep moving on. Just ignore the chat if you guys are, if you can't get along. But anyways, no. So a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about is really just for you know people to think about. If you scratch your head and you're like, oh, some of this stuff makes sense. I mean, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind necessarily. I know, like Bo is trying to change someone's mind when it comes to Jesus, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to lead people to that door. But again, Jesus says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Anyone that basically opens the door, it's not. I don't feel like it's my job to open the door and say, 'Get in there.' You know, it's not my job to do that. I think that what I'm trying to do is analyze things to where a lot of this can make sense from the truth perspective, but at the same time, it's like, what is truth? What is truth subjective and things like that? I don't know. I don't want to bring confusion to it either. So, um, but I just I want to yeah, shine light on the things that are overlooked, you might say. So I'm trying to ignore the chat at this point because it's very distracting to me. But anyways, but yeah, I'm on a journey of trying to understand things, and I appreciate that people are willing to hear kind of these things that I'm going through, and a lot of people are. It seems like they're seeking new information so that they can analyze the world differently from their perspective as well. And I'm kind of that. You can lead a horse to water. I want to lead people to the door, but I don't want to shove anything down people's throat, so to speak. So, and if there's offense that comes from things that I say, which I'm sure that there is, because I say things that are outside of the box. There's a handful of people that like what I have to say, but at the same time, it's like other people reject it. So you can't really please anybody, like everybody. So um, I don't know. So I don't know. I kind of want to get into the chat, but I don't want to hear Bo and Bob going back and forth necessarily either. Forgive me, guys. I don't want to feel like there's tension between you two. So um, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get to something here. Um, Trust the science. Intelligent design requires intelligent designer. Yes. So I feel like there's intelligent design, and I want to, you know, I want to really draw attention to that in a lot of ways because I feel like, so, going back to what's her, where is she at here? Uh, Chain Minds Asylum. So yeah, if you ever want to come on to the show to talk about stuff, I'm happy to hear you out on things. We could have a dialogue and talk about it if you're ever up to it. I don't know. Some people don't want to talk to me on the this kind of platform, so um but so you were talking about, you believe that near death experiences are authentic, which people interpret the near death experiences differently within what they actually are. Like in your case, you actually feel like maybe we are in a mind prison, which kind of reminds me of something that's off topic, but you know how Prison Planet, uh, um, Alex Jones. I just saw something that said that he was sued for defamation for uh, saying that the kids that got shot at school in Connecticut, I think it was, were a hoax. And I'm trying to be cryptic because this is one of those trigger words or whatever. And I think he was sued for $45 million or something. And man, free speech. Yeah, defamation, I guess. You're free to talk about it, but you're not free to not pay defamation if you lose a court case. Um, but it's crazy to me because I feel like I saw a lot of evidence that proved that it was a hoax. Yet I don't know. This is like so off topic. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't know if you saw that. Um, Hold on, I gotta go back to here. Um, Gosh, I hope Bopret didn't leave. Oh no. Well, if I knew how to connect with you, I would love to at a future time. All right. Well, you're welcome to write my email down if you're still here. It's Charlie Forbes. So, excuse me. It's Charlie Forbes 81 at gmail.com. I'll actually put it up here. Um, Sorry, I can't really see. My glasses are very blurry. Let me make sure I did that right. Yep. So yeah, you can copy that email, and you're more than welcome to. That's my email if you want to reach out to me. Um, I would be happy to talk about this topic. I mean, again, like I talked to Forever Conscious on this channel once, but I don't, I don't know. I didn't really push back on him too hard. I just kind of let him talk about things. But anyways, everyone's so sensitive these days. I agree. Yeah, weigh the evidence. Anyways, but yeah, so guys, I really appreciate you jumping in here and listening to me, and I want to kind of get you guys to turn the gears in your mind, and because it's important that you don't reject information just as much as embracing certain information. So like your mind should never just default to anything necessarily as a lens of interpretation. But at the same time, I feel like what Jesus was saying is that you wouldn't truly understand the Father unless you see it through this perspective. So for me, it's easier to embrace what Jesus is saying because that's what I was raised into. But I actually feel like it's hard for me to hear near death experiences that are multicultural. Eastern philosophy or Western philosophy. There's both sides of the coin there. Not even just those, but they're just different religion perspectives, and it just bothers me a little bit, and it throws me for a loop. And that's where chain mind asylum kind of feels like there's something deceptive there, which that's where I'm at too. There's something deceptive there. I don't know if you ever saw the Brian Melvin interview, but that just really kind of sealed a lot for me in regards to near death experiences, because I feel like it just really goes to show that there is deception. So how do you know what is deception or not? Um, you know, Forever Conscious would say the love bomb, and I I know that love can be misunderstood or misconstrued based on our emotional sense. And so, like I was saying in the last podcast, I actually feel like we're our bodies have the ability to have kind of this rush of sensual feelings, and they have that saying, "Love is blind," and love can be blind, right? Whether it's I I'm not I hate talking about this in a lot of ways, honestly. Just it wrecks me inside because I feel like I don't know how to embrace near death experiences anymore. I think that there's something interesting to them. It's very interesting patterns and everything. Um, but here, let me get in here real quick. Oh, cool. Good. Yeah, let's chat. You can email me or whatever, and we'll talk. Um, Remind me where you're at too, because obviously we might be on different time zones. Um, can't you all just get along? Man, I miss Bopperette. You freaking drove her off. What the crap, man? All right. Trust the science is an oxymoron, though. Science is about testing things. And for the record, I trust 1,000,000%. 0.00. It's a million, a bazillion backwards. Negative. Um, other than God. Oh, and Biden. Oh, President. That's funny. Did you guys ever see my video? Uh, the a Biden, a Biden or a Baden. It's the demon that came, or what was it? Was released from the bottomless pit. So Apollyon, Apollyon is actually also known as a Biden or a Baden. And I made a video about a Biden because a Biden is now in control of the government, even though he's not really in control. Anyways, um, yeah, Bo, I guess I can't blame you. You're just passionate. Um, you do rock the boat. I rock the boat too. Um, I hear my wife's feet. What's up, Kels? Oh, she's not coming in. So I say that understand how the conclusions were drawn. Guitar. It's Jesse. Jesse. Um, let's see. Beijing. Biden. Joe Biden. NASA is full of scientists as well that believe Nixon called the moon. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's like when they're over the Indian Ocean, they can't even pick up a phone call when they're going around the Earth or whatever. CERN, CERN is Apollyon. You know what? Maybe there's something interesting about CERN. I think that there is something really interesting about CERN. I got to do a video about that one day because there is some stuff talking about, this pagan ritual type stuff where they're trying to bring the demons out of the gate. I'm telling you, there's just something interesting, something weird about it. Abidon. What's up, Drink Water? Vote for Abidon. Let's see. What are you saying over here? When you do deep research into NDEs, you see deception and illusion, which bothers me. Sometimes it's not so detectable. So if you're assuming that there's deception, I think there's a little bit of presumption there because I feel like not all near-death experiences are that easy to interpret. You have to really just look at the broad spectrum, and you start noticing that there's not just patterns, but there's see, the thing that throws me for a loop is that, when I was younger, they always try to point out these near death experiences that really go to show, um, that prove like their perspective or something. Like, oh, this guy, went on TBN or whatever, and he's like, yeah, he died and came back to life, and he saw Jesus or whatever. And but those are the only near the death experiences that you hear about on TBN. But the ones that you hear about on like when you really start investigating, you start noticing that somebody that dies in China might see something different than somebody that dies in United States or whatever. Which that bugs me. I'm sorry, it bugs me, and it just makes me feel like you know. Hold on, I gotta keep reading this. Um, so yeah, it bothers me. They also have differences concerning religion. Jesus, yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Compare Howard Storm, which I've interviewed Howard Storm with Karen Thomas, and I got to look up Karen Thomas because I don't recall her NDE, and but I would like to. I'll interview her. I don't care. I'll interview anybody. I interviewed some people that really just I didn't feel like I saw eye to eye with fully, but I'm happy to have the discussions. So it's something you need God to reveal, which I am starting to think that. Can I just say something about like my life real quick? And I think I kind of told you this, Bo, but I'm gonna be a little bit transparent for you guys. So when you start feeling like we're walking in this deception or we're stuck in this realm of deception, you start feeling like where is God in all of this? Like why is God not pulling me out of this? And you know, maybe it's one of those Job type situations or whatever where God's just allowing things to happen. But I often think that, you know, if all these things that are happening are just deception, even this concept of heaven or this concept of Jesus or whatever, that it was all just meant to be this lie, uh, then who created us with such perfection, and who created the system to be symbiotic in that sense? Why would it be a benefit to anybody to allow us to be here if they were just trying to manipulate us in deception? I look at it a lot like what the Bible says, that it basically pointed out that there's evil entities or demons that control the outer darkness, and we are supposed to be in the tabernacle of God. The tabernacle of God is the Holy of Holies, and if we are in the Holy of Holies, their outer darkness is it can't penetrate. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of near-death experiences that really show uh, that God and Jesus and all that is correct, but I've heard a lot of heresy that comes out of near-death experiences too. So, like somebody says, like, "Oh, Jesus told me that you know all just throw all religion out the window because it's all BS." We've all contorted religion to suit our own desires or whatever. And I can't argue against some of that, but I just feel like um, when you just throw the baby out with the bathwater, I just think that there's, yeah. Anyways, I just don't. Um, yeah, I laughed at this one, a second ago, Bo, because I thought it would be funny to see you on TBN. Uh, anyways, if they ever invite you, you should go on though. Um, you did talk to Brian Melvin? I didn't know you talked to him. Wait, did you tell me that? I think I have his phone number still. I emailed him quite a bit too. Um, I was gonna interview him like back in April or something, and then I got a strike, and then I just freaking was like, whatever, I'm not gonna do this, and I fizzled. Um, let's see. Some of the greatest prophets questioned God's existence. Then he actually showed up. Yep, Paul. That's a great example. I've seen guys. Sorry. Um, can you hear me now? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how much longer I want to go with this, but I guess I want to leave you with this one thing here. Um, we are in a guitar death battle. I actually feel like we are in a death battle for our soul, and I think that we are. It's weird. It's weird to me that we have to use our intellect to figure stuff out, because there are a lot of people that are born that don't have an intellect, that aren't capable. They don't have the capacity to figure these things out. And I don't know. I feel like I feel like being humble is really the one of the biggest things the Bible points out. So like if if someone slaps you in the face, it takes a lot to not want to retaliate on someone. Now, that not, isn't necessarily being humble as much as just having self control, but um, but that is we. I was kind of trying to go this direction a second ago, but I get very distracted. But I actually feel like when you get in that mindset where you're like, whatever, I don't want to think about this. I'm just going to start watching, you know, these reality TV shows or something, and just disconnect from the world, because or not disconnect from the world, but be part of the world. You start becoming in this mindset where you're like, you almost embrace sin more. And when you start embracing sin, you feel crappy. I feel crappy when I embrace sin. So I actually feel like people should realize that once they start embracing sin, it leads you down roads of destruction. You become it makes you destructive of yourself and the people around you. It causes depression. It causes all kinds of different problems. So I don't know. I just think that is something I want to point out to people, is that you should always remember that if you are gonna err on the side of anything, err on the side of being humble and and being transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because if you continue down a path of destruction, you're gonna, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. So it's where I'd like to be, I should say. I'm not fully there yet. I'm trying to get there, but um, the Jesus story is beautiful in many ways, but when you start looking into Yahweh, uh, you know, before you even go here, I wanted to share something on the last stream, and I totally spaced sharing it. And I don't remember exactly where it's found in the scripture, but I want to find it real quick, honestly. Um, it is in regards to Satan being compared to uh, God the Father or Yahweh. Oh, hold on a second. Let me pull up the scripture and do a comparison here. So, God or Yahweh. Oops. Why? Wait. Sorry, hold on. I'm doing a search. This is important. You got to hear this. You got to hear me out here. Yahweh being compared Satan. Oh, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Old Testament. Okay. Hang on a second. Samuel 24:1. No, it's not what I wanted. Samuel 24. Here, hold on. Let me just look it up real quick. Because I think it was. Here, just a second. Just a second, guys. I know I keep saying that. It takes a lot of patience to listen to my channel, so I don't blame you if it's a struggle. Samuel 24:1. Again, the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he incited David against them, saying, "Go and take the census of Israel and Judah." So, hold on. This is the thing Global Witness was reading and saying that Yahweh was actually not the father of Jesus. I don't know. But the fact that he pointed this out to me kind of threw me off a little bit. So 2 Samuel 24:1. 24:1. And then Chronicles 21. Yeah, Chronicles 21. Here, let me pull that up. Sorry, guys. I'm horrible. I'm horrible at freaking hiccuping through this stuff here. Next. Okay. Okay. Chronicles. Gosh dang it, I can't look at it through here. Okay, just remember this, Second Samuel. I'm just going to do a search on my internet here because I can't. I'm struggling to find it through my phone here. So what was it? There it is. Chronicles version of 2 Sam 24. Here we go. You guys still with me? Okay. So this is kind of to appease the thought process here. So hold on a second. I'm going to read this to you guys real quick, and it's going to probably bother you. So 2 Samuel 24 says, and again, the anger of the Lord against them to say, go, number Israel and Judah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so First Chronicles 21 says, and Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. Okay, so with that said, I feel like, let me see if I can share this again. I want to share this, but it's just my stupid, oh, now I can share it. Don't you dare. It says it lost permission. Stop. I don't know why it does this to me. All right, well, anyways, I need to fix this screen sharing thing because apparently it says it lost permission and I haven't fixed it yet. All right, so let me go back and read this and see if you guys are still even here because I'm like freaking dragging butt here. Let's see. We face Charlie, Daniel, and yeah. Yeah, it's go time. We live in a parasitic world where life feeds on other life. Something is very wrong here. Okay, so with that said, I kind of wonder, while I agree with you at the same time, I often look at my own heart and think, am I perfect? I find myself screwing up all the time. So my intentions are good more often than not, but sometimes I do things to benefit myself over others, or maybe I try to benefit my family over other families. Maybe I don't know. I don't. It's a. I agree with you, but I often wonder if people can see their own heart when they say that. I guess, and I don't think that you would consider yourself a parasite in the world, but I think that flesh. And this is the way the Bible describes it: is we are flesh beings, and we operate from sin. So everybody's, if you allow sin to creep in, that I'm back again. Sorry, guys. Second. Holy crap! You guys are blowing up the chat here. All right. Okay. Skip ahead. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I've been missing Bopperette. I kind of haven't seen her around for a while, and yeah. Anyways, um, Jesus opposed Yahweh many times, saying, "Ye have heard it said, but I say." He also told the Pharisees and Sadducees they were of their father the devil. Yahweh character shows he is evil. I admit that there's a lot of people that will leave Christianity or the faith because of the Old Testament God, and but I also, yeah, I don't. I mean, I've always looked at it through the lens of Joshua, uh, how he destroyed all the people of the land of Jericho. Everybody always tries to make it sound like that story was like a great kid story, but it was actually a horrible story because they killed all the women and children and animals and stuff like that too. So, um, but it was the Genesis 6 lens of interpretation. So Genesis 6. I'm starting to think that my internet is kicking out because I actually feel like I'm down to one little bar of signal here, even though my internet's like sitting, or my modem sitting right next to me. Um, so the Genesis 6 interpretation is really the the thing that helps people. So when that helps me view the Yahweh God a little differently, knowing that we are to kill all the this the forsaken or the corrupted seed, yeah. um yeah. I knew I was giving you ammo on that one. um Something tells me you've heard that one before. Oh, I'm just skipping ahead, guys, to the David Wolf. I can't believe I'm seeing you. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. You were always a late comer. You're here after an hour and a half. But yeah, I'm coming back. I'm starting to do more live streams, and I'm doing some more interviews here soon. So, anyways, it's good to see you, David. All right. Well, anyways, Bo's leaving, and I gotta go too. I think I'm done. I was done like friggin' 20 minutes ago. Sorry. I just thought I'd just kind of figure out a few things while yeah, good to see you too, man. Um, anyways, I will probably pop in here next week with Paul in the plane. We're going to talk about some stuff, and then the next week I think we could either have Jeranism or Joe Taylor. I need to figure out if either one of those guys want to do it in a couple weeks. And then I have a few other prospects that I'm going to be looking for. Anyways, but in the meantime, I'm going to cut this off and I'll talk to you guys soon. And yeah, have a good rest of your evening or day or wherever you are. And Barbara, if you ever hear this again, I always welcome you to come back. And please don't take Bo personally. He's a good guy normally. I really appreciate Bo. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later, and yeah, have a good one. All right, bye.